smiled at them and said she told me so. Everybody asked me how I know. I smiled at them and said she told me so.
No! You just got wrecked.
No! What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Saturday. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome weekend so far. Having a look at Bitcoin. Oh my goodness, we're down 4.51%. Bitcoin sitting around $10,375. My goodness. So yesterday, conveniently, I put my video out, and I always joke about this in the video, and 40 minutes later, we have this dump down to about $10,218. Everybody's freaking out, right? Because we had been going on this like kind of mild uptrend, but the interesting thing is currently the level that we're sitting at right here at 10,411 is basically the exact same level we pumped to on September 2nd. So it's almost like we just erased the past 5 days and we're back exactly where we started. So it's almost like this was just the most sloppy, ugly looking Bart Simpson we've ever seen, right? So that is the situation, but I do want to talk about price short term and long term, but coming up very soon, we have two big events. Number one, Binance is kicking US citizens off officially on the 12th, and number two, we have Bakkt launching. We already have Bakkt custody open, and I want to talk about whether or not that's going to positively or negatively affect the markets. Also, an interesting fact, Tether, or at least the co-founder of Tether, has recently come out and basically said, who cares if Tether's not backed 100%, by dollars? It just matters if people believe in it and trust it, right? Where have we heard that before? Basically from every single government. And also, yes, Binance US is opening, but there is some restrictions. So if that sounds good to you, we're going to get into all those topics today. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, well, what are you waiting for? We do this every single day. And don't forget, Monday is the Ledger Nano S giveaway. Drop a comment on literally any video and you are eligible. Now, giving this a quick refresh live, you are noticing Bitcoin dominance was up to about 71.2%. It has pulled back to about 70.8% on CoinMarketCap. Now, why is this? Well, currently having a look at Tether, which is 0.01%, I would say that probably we've been seeing some of it move into Tether, right? So that explains it. I mean, if you have a look over here, Bitcoin is down 4%. A lot of the other coins aren't down as much. So one could also say that the altcoins are feeling a bit of the love today. You're noticing that the altcoins are mostly putting in green. So some of this might be moving into the altcoins, some of it also into stable coins as well. We did have a bit of a crazy day yesterday. Bitcoin dominance still about 72.95% over on TradingView. Real 10 volume is up. We have $1.2 billion, so that is good to see. Coin Farm is actually showing people buying, but once again, the shorts are down. It seems like the shorts always do the opposite. Like the shorts get heavy when people start buying, I noticed, which is really interesting. So we'll have to have a look at that moving forward. Now we are currently stuck once again between the damn 50 and 100 moving average. Now, if we look right here, each one of these bars represents a day, and in the past 25 days, we've been stuck in this range for 16 days. This is about the most excitement we had right here, and now we are right back exactly where we started. Are we looking for this boring market to continue? Well, it is possible. So essentially, guys, this is what happened yesterday. We got to the end, we fell, and actually, let me zoom out a little bit. Let me show you the whole picture, essentially. So basically right here on the 1st of September, we had this pump. We started forming another bit of a wedge. We pumped all the way up to about almost $11,000. I was hoping for some support around the $10,600 level. We were clearly not supported. And having a look right here on this dotted line, you're noticing that the previous support of 10,425 has now turned resistant. So short term, we would want to get back above that. But I do want to point out that we wicked into the blue box territory and we didn't stay there long. So that is good that we are respecting that moving forward. But I want to show you something interesting too. It wasn't just Bitcoin. We've actually seen that gold has had a bit of a drop as well. You could see right here on September 4th, gold was about 1,566 and currently it's 1,515. So it's not just Bitcoin. We've actually seen gold pull back as well, which is interesting. What's going on here, right? We're going to talk about that. Getting back to Bitcoin though, we are still respecting the trend. You can see right here, if we look at this green wedge, we literally touched the resistance resistance and wicked down to the support, and we are currently trapped exactly in the zone that we expected to be, and this is looking for a breakout around September 16th. However, you do know that Bitcoin does tend to break out usually sooner than the end. Now, if we do fall lower back into this region right here, well, then we could even go out all the way to October 22nd, but we are looking short term to have this breakout probably before September 16th. Now, if we go over here and look at red XBT, Bitcoin never triple bottoms, but I'm glad to be proven wrong by the almighty 2019 bulls. If we go over to my chart, I guess you can call it triple bottom sort of right here, but we did have these wicks on July 12th and on July 28th. So it kind of depends on what you're looking at. If you're just looking at the candles, maybe you could argue we kind of had a triple bottom, although it is still putting in higher lows, which is good short term. And you can see over here, not only did we hit the resistance again, but we were supported even by this $10,182 level, even just straight across, not looking at moving averages, okay? So I just want to show you there's a lot of similar resistances and supports, kind of no matter how you flip these charts right now, but the biggest resistance, in my opinion, this is the reason why we had that dump, is because we were literally hitting crossroads. Essentially right here, we had this massive downwards resistance coming from this recent trend, and we also had this support line right here that we basically had started since the initial pump back on April 1st, and those 2 points met right in the middle, and you can see right here, Bitcoin just didn't know what to do, so it dumped back into the region. So we're going to definitely be having some difficulty with the support moving forward, obviously breaking out of this downwards trend, number one, and then once we do get out of it, breaking back above this parabolic trend is the next issue. So we're actually looking at two resistances right now that are holding Bitcoin back. So that could definitely provide some fun times for the bears short term, so to speak. You know, even having a look over at futures, we were completely out of the triangle, and currently we are sitting in between these sort of two indecisive downwards trends. Are we going to close the CME futures gap at around 9,770? It's possible. We could still retest these lows at around that 9.5 level, right? Like I said, we could still be going all the way to the end of this wedge. And, you know, if you guys have the patience to wait it out, well, the reward could be worth more than the risk, right? We are currently sitting above the EMA ribbon, but Bakkt warehouse custody is live. This came out yesterday. Interestingly enough, we also had 94,000 Bitcoin get moved. It was $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, and this happens, and we have a dump. Crazy coincidence, maybe, but also, guys, the charts were showing that we were hitting some major resistance. So some people are saying, well, it doesn't matter because Bakkt is just going to dump anyway, right? Coming down here, you know, you have very mixed signals. Some people are saying it's going to dump. Some people are saying it's going to pump. Well, guys, regardless, we are getting closer and closer. I want to know, what do you think? I'm hearing people say, you know what? Why should Bakkt be any different than the CME, right? Look what the CME did. CME came out right at the top, and we basically dumped all the way down, right? Well, maybe the same thing will happen with Bakkt, but the difference is Bakkt is physically settled, and if you are actually going to short, you need to physically have that Bitcoin. So it makes it somewhat more difficult for the whales if they plan on using Bakkt as a vehicle to dump, because they actually have to physically have the Bitcoin. Not to say that it can't happen. It can, but it does require that extra step because it's not cash settled, right? Once again, we do have the 21 exponential looking at about 9,147 altcoins, getting very close to this green line, which is the Binance kicking the US citizens off. So I expect to see something big happen basically when this hits. Real quick though, I do want to get back to the charts, but for my US citizens out there, Binance US says they are planning to launch in the coming weeks, so I wonder if there will be a small window of time where we won't be able to trade on either Binance US or Binance, but basically they're saying at the launch it will only be available on the website. They will not have mobile, and according to them, the exchange will require very heavy KYC. You're going to have to upload valid government IDs, including your social security numbers as well. They're in the process of finalizing which states they will and won't allow. However, they will not initially be serving New York. So, my fellow New Yorkers, we can get very used to our favorite censored in New York sign that we see all the time. But that is basically the situation, okay? I just want to let you guys know. But getting back to what is happening, you can see right here, Skew says that Bitcoin is up each quarter this year. Even Q3 so far, we're up just a measly 1%, but we're up. So could we get a similar vintage to 2017? Well, 2017 was up 74%. In Q3, but you can see the numbers have been similar so far. 2017 put in 11% Q1, we put in 10. They put in 131% Q2, we put in 161% Q2. 2017 did 75% Q3, and currently we've only done about 1%. But I have a hunch that we're actually probably going to end Q3 positive. That's just my opinion. You may be of a different opinion, belief, but that's what I think. But here's something that I want to show you guys, okay? We were seeing money leaving exchanges, right? We were seeing the on-chain flows into exchanges way lower than what was leaving. In fact, talking about BitMEX, you were seeing hundreds of millions of dollars leaving and only like 20 or 30 million dollars entering, right? The tables have turned. You can see right here, Binance, 83 in, 69 out. BitMEX, 37 in, 10 out. Bitfinex, 8 million in, 56 million out. Ooh, that's not good. Bitfinex, well, that might tie into something Tether related, which is very interesting, which I'm going to get into in just a second. But for the most part, you are seeing that the inflows are better than the outflows. And also, speaking once again about open interest, BitMEX is making its fourth attempt this summer at approaching 1 billion. Fasten your seatbelt. So basically, you are seeing that the tides have changed, right? Last year and also the year before, it was very heavily focused on ICOs, right? Everybody was speculating on these tokens. The ICO market was booming. Altcoins were booming. Everybody was trying to get the next 100x, unicorn. And then they all dumped 80% to 90%. And some of them are still down 99%. And you're seeing a lot of these companies moving over, Binance, for example, to futures, derivatives and things like that. So you are noticing that the markets have sort of matured. Obviously, you guys know, we over here, we tend to use ByBit. Are we actually dumping again right now? Geez, guys, when is this dump going to end? Well, we did go over the support. I'll let you guys know that at the end. But if you guys haven't checked out ByBit, I do have a tutorial. I'll drop that above. Also, if you're interested, I thought this was kind of cool. So you have CoinMarketCap, but you have contract market cap, and this basically just looks at all the futures, right? So you can see right here, they have all these different things. They have, Huobi, OKX, BitMEX. They have ByBit down here as well, Deribit, all these different ones. So you can check that out if you're interested. You can look at all the different prices. Interestingly enough, though, if you come over here to the 24-hour traded volume, look at this, $17.79 billion worth of traded volume. And if we go back over to Masari, you notice that we're only doing about 1.2 on the real. So this is actually showing me that the futures and derivatives trading is definitely the place to be. This is where all the volume is going right now. So that's basically that situation. But getting back to Bitcoin, I don't want to get off topic. I do want to talk about it because you still have people saying like, oh, well, Bitcoin Lightning Network is crap and, it doesn't work and it's not growing and we need to go to some other solutions. Well, interestingly enough, even if you just compare Bitcoin Cash, which, arguably has, bigger block sizes and is faster than Bitcoin and all this other stuff, well, transaction count, traded volume, returns denominated in Bitcoin, and active addresses for Bitcoin Cash have all fallen. You can see right here in the chart by double-digit percentages since September of 2018, so basically 1 year ago. Whereas if we look over here at the chart for the Lightning Network channels per node, total node count, unique channels, and network capacity denominated in Bitcoin all grew by double and even triple-digit percentages over the same exact time. And if you guys want more information on the Lightning Network statistics, you can come over to 1ml.com and look at this. Everything is up. Nodes, 3.8%. Number of channels, 16%. Network capacity. The only thing that's down is new channels in the last 24 hours. But who cares, guys? Overall, you can see that this thing is obviously growing. So yeah, I mean, definitely, like I said, people that are bashing on Lightning Network and Bitcoin being slow, guys, the internet sucked in the 70s and 80s too. I mean, I used to use dial-up AOL, and now look at me. I'm on freaking like 5G Verizon craziness, right? So yeah, it's going to get better over time. And don't forget, fundamentally speaking, You guys are familiar with Alan Greenspan. He was the chair of the U.S. Federal Reserve from 87 to 2006. Well, he commented on the current economic situation, stating that it's only a matter of time before negative interest rates come to the U.S. He says you're seeing it pretty much throughout the world. It's only a matter of time before it is more prevalent in the United States. Having a look right here, you could see the U.S. 30-year Treasury rate was around 1.93% on Wednesday, which represents an all-time low. So something is brewing. Something is happening. Are they going to be moving into these safe haven assets like gold? Well, we've clearly seen gold going up, even though it has been hit recently, just short term, and Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin is currently an asymmetric, non-correlated asset, which is great. But I do think, personally, my opinion, if we do get hit with massive economic turmoil, where do you think people are going to turn to? They're not going to turn to bonds. Right? They might turn to, gold, some people. I do think that some will turn to Bitcoin as well. Just my opinion. But guys, I mentioned this yesterday. I'm mentioning it again. If you have not seen this rap battle between Hamilton and Satoshi, you have to see it. It's awesome. I will drop it below. I've already watched it like 3 times. It is not corny at all. It's actually really clever. And I think you guys should definitely check it out if you haven't. Really cool. So anyway, talking about Tether. So to get you up to track, if you're not familiar with what's going on, 4 months ago, the state brought charges against Bitfinex and the Tether Treasury for using its own stablecoin to cover up significant losses, around $850 million. I actually have a video if you guys want to Google it. Google Crypto Zombie, or just Google Crypto Zombie Black Swan event. It talks about the Quadriga CX. It ties it into crypto capital and everything. It's like a 20-minute video, okay? But basically, they essentially lost funds out of their negligence or whatever. And so then they held a $1 billion IEO, which made them solvent again. And then they say, well, if the story sounds shady, that's because it is. Now, I want to play a clip from William Quigley. You may know him from Wax. I've actually interviewed the guy. I didn't even know that he was the co-founder of Tether, but he came out and made a statement talking to Bloomberg, basically saying, what does it matter if Tether's backed by 100% by the dollar? It's a matter of what we believe in. In fact, let me just play the clip for you right now, and you can pretty much decide for yourself.
Actually worth what it is. I mean, I'm thinking about Tether. There have been some questions about whether there are enough dollars backing it, or just sort of, whether there's any, demonstration that they're all backed by dollars.
Yeah, well, first I would say whether or not Tether was backed by a dollar or not actually wouldn't matter if everybody agreed to take Tether and to value it at a dollar themselves. And that's actually what's happened. There was some controversy about some cash, I think it was about $850 million, that Tether was unable to access because that bank account had been frozen, not due to anything they had done. And yet the price of Tether continued to trade at just about $1. So I think a lot of people want it to be backed, and they would prefer it to be backed. But what's even more important is that people will exchange it for the value of $1.
Let me know what you think about that, because that sounds exactly like the problem we're trying to get away from now, right? With the endless printing of dollar bills. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Quantitative easing, right? Let's call it by what it really is. Well, if we were going to do that, it essentially would be counterfeiting. But that being said, let me know what you guys think about basically, hey, you know what? We don't need to back Tether by anything. Why not? We'll just print them endlessly. And as long as you believe, that's all that matters. Let me know what you think about that below. ByBit, short the bankers. Side note, we do have a little bit of token news. This past Thursday, Dapp.com closed a $1 million pre-A investment round led by Hashed. So this is a VC firm, and also Due Capital. In a statement, Dapp.com founder CEO Kyle Liu, you might be familiar with him from A-Chain. Remember forking? You guys remember that speech? He says that the funds will go directly toward opening new markets. And I'm actually a fan of Dapp.com. I think this is a really great area to check out. It's got everything aggregated really well. And yeah, I've actually talked about them on the channel before, but let me know your experience. Look at all the different blockchains on here. They have Ethereum, they have EOS, Steam, Tron, Tomo Chain, IOST, and Clayton's on here as well. So that being said, guys, I just want to end on this because somebody pointed this out. So Bitcoin bull John McAfee responds to a $100 million zombie ICO lawsuit. This has nothing to do with me, guys, in case you're wondering. This zombie token, zombie coin, not related to Crypto Zombie, but having a look right here, essentially, John McAfee wants to resolve his dispute with the South Chinese Zombie Research Center over their Zombie ICO partnership. Zombie threatened to file a $100 million lawsuit against John McAfee in an angry tweet storm. They basically said that he trashed them in the white paper. So they hired him to write their white paper and to promote their ICO. And get this, guys, they paid him, which he admitted to being paid, $4.5 million up front to shill the zombie cryptocurrency. And you guys are getting mad at YouTubers. My goodness, $4.5 million. Where do I sign up? Anyway, to the contrary, John McAfee told CNN that it is a serious company with serious goals. They were not impressed. You can see right here. Look at this. He says, why does the zombie company need their own crypto? Because the coin is to be used by both zombies and people. If a zombie attacks you, you can negotiate a transaction whereby you give the zombie a bunch of coins and it eats your neighbor instead of you. Well, that's the purpose. That's the utility of the token, obviously. So they've also created their own protective medallions. And if you buy them for $50, then you'll also have protection from the zombies as well. In fact, if you look right here, this is what he wrote. He wrote, with this in mind, and considering that no matter what the facts may be, some people will still add 2 plus 2 and arrive at 22 for their answer. I would like to add the following, and this is in the white paper. This is hilarious. This is the most absurd concept in the history of crypto. By no light of rationale reasoning could this project be viewed as anything other than pie-in-the-sky fantasy horror from the mind of a mentally deficient 4-year-old. Number 2, even if someone held a gun to my head, I would not muster any statement more positive than do not invest in this shitcoin under any circumstances, at any time, for any reason. Only an idiot would consider, even under conditions involving the most extreme warping of reality, investing in this coin or any offshoot of this abomination. If this does not meet the letter of requirement for the SEC, then nothing will. Now, he goes on to say that he was mocking the SEC. McAfee explained that he was making fun of the SEC's ludicrous involvement in cryptocurrencies by writing this silly disclaimer. He further claims that he never meant to disparage the China zombie coin. In fact, he praised them for doing profound research into chemically induced zombieism. I think we need to end the video today. I think that's where we end. So, that being said, my goodness, now that my mind has been completely warped, I mean, I know the name of the channel is Crypto Zombie, but zombie coin where you can bargain with a zombie trying to eat your brain. Come on, guys. This is absurd. So, that being said, thank you so much for coming back to the channel, having a look at what Bitcoin is doing right now. Okay. No, we're not. We're having a little mini scare right there. So we're basically just going sideways, guys. You know what the deal is. We're essentially just in this giant triangle. Okay, everybody's looking at it, and we are waiting for a breakout or breakdown sometime, possibly within the next week. And if we continue to break down lower and continue sideways, then we're looking for sometime mid-October. That being said, it could be a very boring, long, stretched out sideways moment, but I'll tell you what, great opportunity to accumulate, right? That being said, let me know, what do you guys think? Are we doing for some more sideways action? Are we ready for a breakout, breakdown, going down to 6K? Let me know what you think. Thank you so much once again for coming back to the channel. Everyone that's been liking, subscribing, and commenting, you guys rock. Also, don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you can get these updates right away. Also, let your Nano S, if you want to drop a comment, we do that on Monday. And thank you so much again for everyone that's been supporting the channel by using the